My brothers and sisters, you are now watching the Gamer 2323, so just forget about the chores you're supposed to do. Put your feet up, get your Kool-Aid, fried chicken, popcorn, get whatever you may need! And I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so I finally beat this game right here. Finally got it out the way. Thank the Lord I'm done with this game. Thank the Lord I'm done with this game. Finally got it out of the way a few days ago. I think after like 133 plus hours that I put into this game. And before I'm completely done with this game and send it off to a GameStop store shelf for someone else to pick up for used, I wanted to give this game a proper send-off, you know. I'm joking. I don't know if I'm gonna trade the game in yet, to be honest, but I did want to give this game a proper send-off before, you know, I move on to the next game, or, you know, they probably gonna put out some DLC, who knows when. It's not like this game really needs DLC right now, because it has a ton of content in the game. But I wanted to give this game a proper send-off. So this will kind of be, I guess, if you wanted to say, my Elden Ring official review, whatever. But I call this Elden Ring the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Because you have some people, you know, I feel like kind of capping for this game a little bit too hard. Like, you got both sides. You got one side that refused to give this game credit and be like, bro, this game suck ass. It ain't nothing special. It sucks. It's overrated. And then you have the stand side, which, like, they swear this is, like, the greatest game from God. And it's just like, I am here to give you that in between of what this game truly is, okay? So let's get into it. So like I said before, I was wrong about Elden Ring. I did that vid, you know what, like a week after it had released, and I was playing it, and I admitted that I was wrong about this game, because before this game came out, I was definitely, I mean, I wanted to say that I was a hater, because that's not something that I do, but I was labeled as an Elden Ring hater. Me of all people, I'm the most open, diverse gamer out there that you can get, and they labeled me, my brothers and sisters, me, a hater.
All right, that's it. Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow.
Bottom line, I was wrong about this game. This game is very fun, but where I felt like I was really wrong with this game is from the open world standpoint, you know, especially in modern day gaming, to where open world games are not special no more. Newsflash devs, if you're not aware of this, just because you have a game that is open world, it does not make you special no more. Like maybe 10, 15 plus years ago it did, but now, like, when I hear open world game, I don't even blink. I feel like Elden Ring, from an open world standpoint, it's a breath of fresh air from what we've become accustomed to with what is a open world game. You can really just get into this game and just go in whatever direction you want. There's no freaking filler side quests in the game. There's no icons scattered all across the map and you don't even know what to look at. There's no freaking watchtowers that you have to climb to unlock more of the map. Like, bro, we know what we know how open world games be. And, you know, with all the stuff that I don't like about open world games and that have continued to be just plowed into the freaking ground, Elden Ring doesn't do none of that. Like, I feel like Elden Ring simplifies it simplifies what's good about open world games. But what I do feel like is kind of a double-edged sword with this game. I did feel like even though this game was a breath of fresh air from an open world experience, at the same time, I did feel like because they do let you go in whatever directions and there are no, filler side quests and you have to do this first to get to here, I did feel like at times this game did kind of lack direction. It's just as far as like the story, I felt like it was dang near impossible to play this game without a guide. Like every time I played this game, I was always streaming the game. So, if I was lost, I always just asked my chat, like, yo, what direction am I supposed to go in? But playing this game offline, just in your own time, without like looking up, okay, what do I do next to like continue on the main story, I feel like it's dang near impossible because the game is so large and it doesn't hold your hand at all and you can just do whatever you want and go in any direction you want. It's kind of like I don't want the game to hold my hand, but at the same time it's like, all right, can you at least like put me on like the direct path of like what I'm supposed to do next? Because I truly felt like without a guide, like who didn't use a guide playing this game just to like, if you got lost and you didn't know like what to do next as far as the main story goes. So I like it that, it was refreshing from that standpoint of just, do whatever you want to do at your own pace, go in, whatever direction you want and, play the game. But at the same time, it's like, can you at least give me this? So it was kind of like a double-edged sword. Tons of content and things to do, as I'm sure we all know. I feel like games like this is, kind of a rare art form to where a game that has a lot of content day one, has no season passes, no day one DLC, no nothing. They just gave you the game day one and it had like easily over 100+ hours of content within the game. You don't get that too often these days, especially from a single player experience. Gameplay in this game is more of what we've become accustomed to from Souls games. You're put into a game, you gotta rank up your armor. We'll find some good armor and gear and weapons and rank them up, so as you progress through the game and fight all these crazy looking bosses, it makes the game not as rage inducing for you. So that's what this game is. But as far as compared to the other Souls games, gameplay wise is not as good as Sekiro. I felt like it's I know some people say Sekiro was not a Souls game, so it's like Tenchu or whatever like that. I still consider Sekiro a Souls game. It's made from Software. It's a Souls game in my opinion. I'm sorry. So gameplay wise, it's not as good as Sekiro, and it's also not as good as Bloodborne. I still consider Bloodborne overall the best Souls game ever created. Period. And compared to all of the previous Souls games, I feel like this is the easier one because you have all this stuff in your arsenal. You have things like rune arcs. You have the talismans that you can use, and you can have up to 4 of them on you. You have the weapon passive effects or whatever you call them that have blood loss build up on them, or frost build up, or whatever that do extra damage to when you're in battle. You have the summons in this game that you can upgrade, and boy, I didn't know what Suckers was talking about before I started to use it. The mimic tier in this game summon, bruh. So you have all this stuff that you can use in this game that were not in previous Souls games that I feel make Elden Ring overall not as difficult as its predecessors, because you have all this different stuff that you can use. So that's how I felt with that. But yeah, let me get into what I personally feel like people have not critiqued this game in that department at least enough. The boss fights in this game, one, they're not as memorable as they are in previous Souls games, especially like Bloodborne, bro. Like I I don't know if I'm biased towards Bloodborne because it was my first Souls game, but I can literally almost recall like at least 9 to 10 plus boss fights in Bloodborne that I can all like just go back to, and I was like, yo, I remember this fight. I remember this fight. Yo, I remember when I was doing this, and I was like, oh! And it's like no Souls game since then has touched Bloodborne just as far as memorable boss fights. Elden Ring, in my opinion, the two best boss fights that this game has is Godfrey when you are fighting him, or when you go back to that same location that you was fighting Market or whatever, and then Godfrey, and then the whole second phase with that, like that actually I really enjoyed that fight, and it was different. Melania, who I just recently beat.
And I have never known defeat.
Is that so? Well, tonight's your night. She was also a great boss fight. Her freaking second phase to where she turns into like the freaking female Sephiroth, whatever. That was also an amazing fight. OST included. Those were great battles. Outside of that, are there any memorable fights that I will remember from Elden Ring? Margit, Renala, Radon, maybe, but there weren't really a lot of, in my opinion, great bosses in this game. And the main thing that I'm about to critique, and I've been seeing suckers give it a pass because, oh, this game is big. They couldn't always have a new boss fight for like all these different eras. I'm not saying all that, but they reuse so many bosses in this game. Do not be shocked if when you beat a boss that, you know, like the freaking tree sentinel, which is like in the beginning of like the game. I swear, you fight this man like 7 to 8 times after like after that. They'll throw 2 of the same bosses that like you beat before in like the game, and they'll like pair them together, and then you have to beat those bosses that you beat like hours ago, but now they put them together and you have to beat them both at the same time. Like they'll do a lot of stuff like that. Hell, they've turned main bosses, main like story bosses in this game into normal enemies. They'll do stuff like that to where they turn Margit from a main boss into a normal enemy. And it's just like, bro, I vividly remember when God of War came out, suckers had problems because you suckers had problems because you had to fight the trolls like maybe what, 6 or 7 times. Suckers was critiquing the hell out of God of War for that, and I know God of War is not as big as Elden Ring, so don't even throw that out there. I am fully aware of that. But that's no freaking excuse, bro. As much as they were reusing bosses in this game, both from just, you know, the same boss that you beat, and they would toss them back at you with just a different effect. Throw main bosses from the story that you beat and then make them normal enemies. Throw 2 bosses that you beat before, now pair them together. You have to beat them both at the same time. They did that so often in this game. It got tiresome. And I'm like, no, I'm not giving this junk a pass just because this game is big. This junk is lazy as freak. It honestly started to feel like, alright, bro. Especially the Godskin duo. Holy crap. The fact that you had to beat that boss. There was just like a lot of stuff like that to where I feel like people do not critique this game as fairly as they would if another game did it in this junk. I'm not about to let this game get away with that just because this game is large. No. Reuse boss fights and reuse assets, and bro, they would literally, bro, I swear, they you had to fight Margit like at least what, maybe like 4 times. It got to the point to where they literally changed they changed like a few letters in Margit's name and just like called him Margot instead of Margit. Same move set, but like they gave him like what 2 or 3 different moves, but it was essentially the same fight. I'm like, nah, bro, you are not. I am not letting this fly. And I get it. Like I didn't expect like, you know, because there are a lot of locations in this game. There are. You know, so am I expecting like just complete like every single area has like this unique amazing boss fight? No, I'm not saying that. But as much as they was throwing like these freaking insane bosses at you, bro, like no, I'm sorry, I cannot give that a pass when you had to fight what 6 or 7 trolls in freaking God of War 2018 and suckers lost their minds. Freak out of here, bro. It ain't happening. So there's that. The dragons were underwhelming in this game. You know, I remember before this game came out, you know, we all thought, you know, going against like dragon bosses and this game was going to be like, you know, kind of more special at least than it was. The dragon fights in this game are really underwhelming. Again, going back to just, you know, the boss fights, it's kind of the same thing. Like you're fighting pretty much the same dragon over and over and over again. The only difference is they might be more stronger depending on the location you're in, and they'll have different effects. Like one might have the freaking scar, you know, the scarlet rot effect, and then one might have frostbitten effect, or one might have, you know, poison, whatever. Like it's really stuff like that. Like the dragon fights in this game, once you beat 1 or 2 or 3 dragons, you pretty much, you know, get the gist of how these fights are going to be. They're going to be the same thing over and over and over again. They're just going to get more strong as you progress in the game. So yeah, the dragon fights in this game, they kind of I felt like dropped the ball with that, because I did think that they were going to be a little bit more epic than they were. But like by the time I beat like my 3rd or 4th dragon, I'm like, I don't need to fight these. I really don't need to fight these suckers. That's how I felt. So all in all, like I said before, nothing really has changed. I still admit that I was wrong about this game. This game was way more better than I thought it was going to be as an open world game. So I'm not about to like backtrack or nothing like that, but because this is my official review, because I'm officially done with this game. Yeah, I this game is great. This game is easily going to be in contention for game of the year. I don't really know what other game. I mean, you have Horizon, you have Sifu. Who else knows what's going to come out this year? But I mean, right now, I kind of feel like this game is hands down the game of the year, just with the just, you know, if you compare it to the other games we've gotten this year. Like, what game is really going to beat Elden Ring out for game of the year so far? You know, so it's still a fantastic game, but it's not a masterpiece, and it is flawed. So I'm going to give this game a 9 out of 10. When Elden Ring dropped, you know, I felt like it really showed you, like, when you put a lot of love and effort and time and content into a single player game, single player games can be just as big and as popular as, you know, trendy multiplayer titles today. And that's why you had this game getting so much love when it first dropped. You know, one thing this game does that you cannot get in any other Souls game is this game can be really comfy at like different times in like the game, because you're just exploring, and then you're on the horse and the OST depending on what location you're in. Like, this game can be really like just a chill game to play, and then as soon as you get into a boss fight, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot this is a Souls game. So that is something that this game offers that that I personally have not experienced in any of their Souls game, and that's even including Bloodborne, my favorite one. But yes, Elden Ring, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, my brothers and sisters. that is my review for this game. What did you guys feel about Elden Ring? Do you feel like it is your game of the year right now? Do you feel like it was a little overrated, not that special? You know, think it's trash, or do you think it is a masterpiece? And also, where does this game rank for you amongst the other Souls game? Do you feel like this game is the best, or, you know, is it top 3, top 5, whatever? Let me know all that down in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until the next video, my brothers and sisters, I'll catch y'all boys in my next one. All right.